Aloha mai kako. Aloha ina hoa makamaka o mai kalahi ki a kalakau. Lina mai ki aloha. Mahalo nui no ke afo ko ana o kako. No kupono kalahui. No kupono ka aina. No kupono ka vai no hoi. Ea he olelo no iao e kalele ana I ke aloha o na alakai ma lahaina ma Maui. Ka ipuku kui pio ole I ke kau ula. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here today at the August 28th Board of Water Supply Board meeting, and I wanted to open up with Olelo no Eau, number 1414, Ka ipuku kui pio ole I ke kaua ula. This is in honor of all of those in Lahaina, in Maui, and the leadership there that is working tirelessly. It translates to the light that will not go out in spite of the blowing kaua ula wind. Said of Lahaina Luna School, where many leaders of old Hawaii were educated. Our hearts go out to all those affected by the Lahaina fires. Mauna nui. Welcome to today's August 28th, 2023 public hearing and regular meeting of the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Before beginning today's meeting, I'd like to state that our board is dedicated to providing safe, dependable, and affordable water now and into the future. At this time, I'd like to
Didn't quite catch that.
Me either. At this time, we'd like to share a brief recording with reminders on public participation, as well as virtual meeting regulations for board members as required by law.
Materials for this meeting under HRS Section 92-7.5 are accessible at boardofwatersupply.com/boardmeetings. The public may attend this meeting in person at the BWS Public Service Building, located at 630 South Beretania Street. The public may also view a live stream of today's meeting on our website at boardofwatersupply.com/live. We have been accepting written or oral testimony for today's meeting. Instructions and an online submittal form are available at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. The deadline to submit advanced written testimony has passed. Testimony received by noon today have been distributed to the board members. We will continue to accept written testimony today through our online form. Oral testimony in person or remotely will be accepted during today's meeting. To facilitate as much in-person and remote testimony as reasonably possible during the time allotted, pre-registration and submittal of a written version of testimony at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony is strongly encouraged. To testify in person, please register using our online form or come to the Public Service Building at 630 South Beretania Street. We have a representative in the lobby to provide intake and further instructions. To request to testify remotely, please complete the online form at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. Requesters will receive an email containing links and instructions to join the Zoom session. Testifiers will have 2 minutes to state their position. A timekeeper will alert testifiers when there is 1 minute remaining. Once the 2 minutes are up, please summarize to allow time for questions from the board. Then, make room for the next testifier. Board members attending any board meeting remotely must be visible to the public to be considered present and meet quorum guidelines. Board members participating remotely must also disclose their location and anyone present at their location during roll call. Meeting participants who are calling or video conferencing in, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If you have a question, comment, or wish to enter or second a motion on an action item, please unmute your microphone and identify yourself before continuing to speak. If you encounter technical issues during today's meeting, please use the Zoom chat to send a direct message to our support team. Their names are listed in the message to all participants. To open the chat window, please click on the text bubble icon on the Zoom toolbar.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a moment to take roll call of the board members. When I call your name, please say aye. And if attending remotely, make the appropriate disclosures. Virtually, board member Brian Andaya.
Hi, I'm in my home office alone.
Thank you. In the boardroom with me today, we have Max Sword.
Present.
Jean Abano.
Aye.
Also in the room with us today are Manager Ernest Lau, Deputy Manager Erwin Kawata.
Aloha.
Board Secretary Joy Cruz Achu.
Hi.
Manager Secretary Kim Kawai. Information Specialists Stephen Nordstrom, and Wayne Maria. Joining us by Zoom are Jeff Lau and Jessica Wong, both from the City and County Corporation Council Department. Starting off today, public hearing. The Honolulu Board of Water Supply's public hearing was published in the Thursday, August 17th, 2023 Star Advertiser. The purpose of this public hearing is to allow the public opportunity to testify on the proposed amendment to fiscal year 2023-24 capital improvement program budget of the Board of Water Supply. With us today, staff Relin Nakabayashi to present.
So as Chair mentioned, this is a public hearing to discuss the revisions to the fiscal year 24 capital improvement program budget. This is amendment number 1, and it proposes to increase funding for the existing pump renewal and replacement project. It will also include 2 projects that are new to fiscal year 24, but were budgeted in fiscal year 2023. And it will also add another new project, our water master plan update, and will delete a budgeted project that will be deferred to a future fiscal year. And it also increases our fiscal year 2024 construction cost index account to provide sufficient funding for these new projects. So the first increase is item number 5, pump renewal and replacement. We're proposing to increase this line item to $4,080,000. And this is because additional funds are needed to address supplemental projects that were added to support our water system. We're also increasing or adding, this is a project, new project, item number 41, Wilhelmina Rise 811 reservoir replacement. And this was not previously budgeted in fiscal year 24, but will be budgeted now via this amendment. It was budgeted in 23, though we were unable to make a contract award. So no funds were encumbered and the funding lapsed, need to be reprogrammed. This is the location of the Wilhelmina Rise 811 reservoir. It supports our water master plan. It will be to construct a new 300,000 gallon reservoir where we previously have a 43,000 or 430,000, gallon reservoir on that site. When we bid this project in the end of, towards the end of fiscal year 2023, bids were 12.5 million over available funds. So we are descoping and redesigning the project now, and we target re-advertising this in the fall. This is just a couple of pictures from the condition assessment that was done in 2004, so nearly 20 years ago. So this is a critical or important reservoir project for us to complete. Because of the cost of the project as bid last fiscal year, we are pursuing at this time replacement of the reservoir only. The other parts of the project, which are improvements to the booster station and the facility itself with fencing, will be programmed in the future when more funding is available. By reducing the project scope, we believe the project will come in at the $8.5 million being requested in the budget. The next add is project number 42. This was budgeted in fiscal year 2023 as the Hawaii State Hospital well test. We're more appropriately naming it the DLNR Windward Exploratory Well, and then providing the state well number. And again, this is just to survey, video log, clean, clear, and test pump and sample the well. This was also budgeted last year, but we weren't able to award a contract, so we need to rebudget in fiscal year 24. Project location, and this exploration and development of new sources in the Windward 500 system are required in response to the reduction of water permitted to be drawn down from our Haiku tunnel. So we need to find and develop new sources in the Windward side. We are also adding another, this is a new project, was not budgeted in fiscal year 23. This will be project number 43 for our water master plan update. As this board knows, so that $1 million is being added to the 24 budget. As the board knows, we developed the water master plan in 2016. And so it's coming around time for us to relook at that. And especially as this board and the public knows, with the challenges that we are facing currently, it's an opportune time for us to relook at our future planning and update this document. We will be deleting funding for the project at Hawaii Booster number 1. That's project number 8. We'll defer this project to a future fiscal year as more time is needed currently to complete our Hawaii Lower Booster number 2 project. And that's just where the booster is. And because we are adding construction projects, there will be an increase to the construction cost index account reflective of those construction projects. Additionally, we will be adding more ARPA, or that's budgeted in extramural fund for our Montserrat Water System Improvements Project, which we did award at the end of fiscal year 2023. And this will just increase contingency for the project with those federal funds. So in summary, the budget as adopted by the board in May was $212,646,000. With all the decrease, we are proposing the budget as amended at $223,911,976. Happy to answer any questions the board or the public may have.
Just to clarify for the public, this is not our operating budget.
This is our
It's
capital.
Capital Improvement Program budget, our CIP.
Thank you, Ernie. And thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Members, any
question.
questions? Max?
You're separating out for the Wilhelmina Rise, you're separating out the tank from the
Yes,
booster.
from the booster
yeah.
improvements and then the fencing.
When you say program in the future, how much in the how far into the future are you thinking? I guess the bottom line of my question is that, how bad is the pump station?
Pump station is functional. It's really the reservoir that needs to get addressed.
Okay.
But when we went with the original bid last fiscal year, it came out $12.5 million over budget on the bids.
Right.
So we'll program it in the future, but also we'll have to weigh it against future priorities such as source development and other things.
Because I know that tank is way up in the top of the hill.
Yeah.
You do need a pump to get the water out there.
The booster pump station is actually pretty new,
Oh, it's pretty, okay.
the existing one. It's
All
not,
right, yeah.
not ancient.
Okay.
Like the reservoir is pretty.
Not as
ancient.
old as the reservoir. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was just wondering, I'm looking at some of the pictures here, and it does look kind of,
Yeah,
Yes.
we need to move on that project.
okay, all right, that's the only question I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
How comfortable are we with the 8.5 million budget and not having a repeat of a overbid? With current,
Well, we're very hopeful.
okay, hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, you can't guarantee that it'll come in because it's a low bid process and it depends on the bids. The other thing too is, we took out the project to bid in the fourth quarter. A fourth quarter ending of the fiscal year, which is
Fiscal
in,
fourth.
for FY
calendar.
23.
Okay.
No, it's, for government, we go by fiscal year, so starting July 1st, ending on June 30th. So that last quarter is usually when a lot of different agencies, state and city, go out and bid out their work.
Awesome.
So we're trying to
Picking
get-
and choosing and
We're
finding
trying
the
to
right
get the
pilot.
bid out earlier and hopefully give us better pricing by doing that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gene.
Any other questions? Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony today?
No, Chair, there is no testimony on any items at the moment.
Okay, and that's in person, virtual, and written.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. There's no further questions or testimony. I'm going to close the public hearing. Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're now in regular meeting. We have 7 items on our action agenda today. Number 1 is the approval of the amended minutes of the regular meeting held on June 26, 2023. The minutes were amended to reflect the correct title for our deputy manager. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion, please?
So move.
It's been moved, seconded. Okay, any discussion? Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Antaya,
Aye.
Board Member Matt Sword,
Aye,
Board Member Gina O'Connell,
Aye.
Chair Leku Anthony.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to Action item number 2, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held July 24th, 2023. Any discussion?
Yeah, what do you mean corrections on the minutes?
Yep.
Yeah, was I through Zoom? I thought I was here present, 24th, July 24th.
Yeah, you should have been. I remember you. See. Oh,
I believe that's the one,
that's the June one.
or the June one.
The June, yeah, the June one, you know what, that's all the minutes for the corrected for Irwin's title, and then we're gonna fast forward to the next set of minutes for July.
July minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah, they're back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, there's
Yeah, I
two
think
different
I'll-
months there, June and July.
You're looking at page 56. This one,
Okay, I believe I was.
yeah, that one says present.
Yeah.
The July one is present. You're in.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Madam Secretary, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Taya,
Aye.
Board Member Max Sword,
aye,
Board Member Gina Bono,
Aye.
Chair Malegu Anthony.
Aye,
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
thank you so much. This is moving on to action item number 3, adoption of resolution number 970-2023, amending the 2023-2024 capital improvement program budget and appropriating funds. Therefore, and revising the 2023-2024 capital improvement program budget amendment number 1. Raylene.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. This resolution does just increase the appropriation for the capital improvement program budget to the $223,911,976 for the projects we just discussed in the public hearing. The public hearing was just concluded, and the affidavit attesting to the publication of the public hearing notice should be attached to the board letter. It ran on August 17th. So I won't cover all of this because we kind of just did this in the PowerPoint, but these are the increases in projects. It's a resolution adopting the amended capital improvement program budget and appropriates funds therefore. So this only touches the CIP, as Ernie mentioned, budget, and restates or amends the appropriation as stated in the reso. And I am happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve, please?
so move.
It's been moved
I second.
and seconded. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, hearing no more discussion, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Taya.
Aye.
Board Member Max Sword,
Aye,
Board Member Gina Bono,
Aye.
Chair Malegu Anthony.
Aye,
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
thank you so much. And Ray, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Ray.
Action item number 4, adoption of resolution number 971-2023, Kathleen Elliott Fahimili, 2023 Manager of the Year. I'll turn it over to Ernie Lau.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Pleased to announce that our 2023 Manager of the Year for the Board of Water Supply is actually the head of our communications office, Ms. Kathleen Elliott Pahinui. Kathleen, can you come up, please? She is the information officer that leads our communications office team. Chair, if I could just maybe read the resolution very quickly.
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you. Whereas Kathleen Elliott Pahinui, Public Information Officer who oversees the communications office, has been selected as the Board of Water Supply Manager of the Year for 2023. Whereas since joining BWS in July 2016, it's hard to believe it was 2016. I'll just interject that Kathleen actually served on our stakeholder advisory group initially. Has worked diligently to develop innovative programs and services to support the Board of Water Supply's mission and meet the evolving communication needs of this board and department, which supplies water to 1 million people of our island home. And whereas through the programs and services, Ms. Kathleen Elliott Pahinui has, among other accomplishments, enabled the BWS to successfully address widespread fears, concerns, and outrage of Oahu water users after the unprecedented 2021 Navy Red Hill fuel leak. Convert this board to a monthly meeting format from in-person to hybrid during the COVID pandemic. Obtain for this board valuable information and input on Oahu's water future from 2 stakeholder advisory groups that she coordinates, and partner with the Hawaii Community Foundation for a Hawaiian culture-based educational campaign at state airports to inspire residents and tourists to conserve our island's precious water resources. And whereas Kathleen Elliott Pahinui personifies the attributes that organizations and employees desire in their leaders, as she has cultivated a strong and cohesive communications team through the astute and supportive leadership that builds on their strengths, as she encourages them to improve and expand their skills, embrace key communication tools, achieve on-the-job excellence. And in fact, 4 communications team members were named Florida Water Supply Employee of the Year in the last 4 years and develop their future as leaders in government communications. Whereas in addition to her responsibilities, Kathleen serves her community as the North Shore Neighborhood Board Chair, leading monthly public meetings that promote civic engagement to identify and help resolve concerns of that district. Whereas Kathleen's selection as our Manager of the Year for 2023 and her nomination as City Manager of the Year recognition ceremony has brought pride and honor to the Board of Water Supply and all her family and friends. Now therefore it be resolved by the members of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, that we do hereby express to Kathleen Elliott Pahinui our heartfelt appreciation for her outstanding service to the department and to the City and County of Honolulu. Be it resolved that members of this board express our sincere congratulations upon her selection as the Board of Water Supply Manager of the Year for 2023. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Members, any discussion? Just huge thanks. Huge thanks. You get a sentence or two in the response to Red Hill, but behind the scenes, this Board of Water Supply saw billions upon billions of views of interviews that were done by staff, and just all this attention, and that is a far cry from a communications department that has to talk about turning off the water when you're brushing your teeth. And so to retool that and be able to handle that and coordinate that is just getting to watch that from the inside is just an amazing job. So thank you.
Thank you,
Kathleen,
Sarah.
for what you
Appreciate
did.
that. If I may say first, I can't do this by myself, and my entire team is responsible. I mean, without them, we don't have communications. And today is a testament, all the work that goes into putting this board meeting together. And I just would like a nice shout out for my team, because they're just awesome and can't do it alone. Cannot do it alone. So, yay.
And Lehu, if I could just add to, it was shortly after Thanksgiving of 2021 when our world went upside down, and the 93,000 people that are served by the Navy's water system ended up with jet fuel in their drinking water. And if it wasn't for Kathleen, because the days that followed were insane. We were getting calls for media interviews, almost like a dozen a day for at least a few weeks. And we moved from dealing with local media to dealing with national media and dealing with international media too. So I just want to say, without Kathleen's steady hand and support and ability to keep all these moving pieces from becoming a chaotic mess. If it wasn't for Kathleen, we would not have gotten this, through this, and for her ability to communicate effectively to our community when they were just dying for information. So mahalo, Kathleen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Questions? Hearing none. Can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Moved and,
I second.
okay, moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Azaya.
Aye.
Board Member Max Sword.
Aye.
Board Member Gina Albano.
Aye.
Chair Nave Anthony.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
Thank you very much and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Just want me to take the picture afterwards?
Oh, yeah, actually, that's right.
Here. Who's in the picture?
Just taking, oh, there's Tracy. I need that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kathleen. Congratulations.
Yeah, so the right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The butter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to action item number 5, adoption of resolution number 972, 2023. Sherry Mikami, 2023 Employee of the Year. Turning it over to Ernie Lau.
Thank you, Chair. Sherry, can you come on, please? Thank you. I just read the resolution. Sherry Mikami, Community Relations Specialist 2 in the Communications Office, has been a hardworking, dependable, and exceptional employee since joining the BWS in April 2015, and has been selected as our Department 2023 Employee of the Year. Congratulations, Sherry. Whereas Ms. Mikami is recognized for her wealth of knowledge, efficiency, and productive work ethic in the managing of the Board of Water Supply's Halava Xeriscape Garden, which promotes water conservation through the principles of xeriscaping. Whereas Sherry furthers her education understanding by maintaining her Master Gardener certification and applies this knowledge to her work at the garden to enhance its offerings to the community. Whereas Sherry, in a short time, expanded and created new xeriscape workshops to appeal to a larger, wider audience, revamped the popular Easter egg hunt, and making it more educational for the keiki, and inviting new speakers to educate the community on the importance of xeriscaping. Whereas Sherry is particularly adept at identifying innovative solutions, as evident by the pandemic, during the pandemic, when she successfully and seamlessly offered garden workshop videos online when in-person gatherings were prohibited. And I still remember the video that she did on how to convert a egg carton to a little greenhouse to grow seedlings and plants. I don't think I ever got it right, but thank you, Sherry. Whereas also she's takes the lead in a lead role in managing the successful annual Halava Xeriscape Garden Unthirsty Plant Sale, a free family-friendly event focused on xeriscaping. And whereas Sherry has been selected as the 2023 Board of Water Supply Employee of the Year and will go on to represent the BWS in the upcoming City Employee of the Year recognition ceremony, bringing pride and honor to the department, her family, and friends. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the members of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, that we do hereby express to Sherry Mikami our sincere appreciation for our outstanding service to the department and to the City and County of Honolulu. Be it further resolved that the members of the Board of Water Supply express to Sherry McCamey our sincere congratulations on her selection as the Board of Water Supply Employee of the Year for 2022.
Any discussion? Thank you for your service and for your time in, and it's been, I know, a huge team effort to keep all of this going and figuring out how to do new ways of the old ways. As a side note, I started off as not many people know this, but I started off as under Denise DaCosta 30 years ago, and we used to be at the Xeriscape Garden every Thursday giving tunnel tours and garden tours. So I appreciate that it's still going all these years later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say that we had our first in-person Thirsty Plant Sale this past August. Thank you, Sherry, for keeping that running and coordinating all the efforts. Good job. Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, another round of applause. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Okay, it's moved by Jean and seconded by Max. Madam Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Antaya.
Aye.
Board Member Max Sword.
Aye.
Board Member Gino Vano.
Aye.
Chair Nalegu Anthony.
Aye.
Chair, motion passes with 4 ayes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Please note for the record. And we're just going to take a pause here for the picture.
Photo op time.
Yes. Enter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Action item number 6, adoption of resolution number 973, 2023. Albert Mao, 2023 Employee of the Year. Turning it over to Ernie Lau.
Thank you. Congratulations, Albert.
Thank you.
Whereas Albert Mao, a procurement and specifications specialist 5 with the Executive Support Office, has been a dedicated and exceptional employee since joining the Board of Water Supply in 1989 and was selected as the department's 2023 Employee of the Year. Whereas Mr. Mao is a model employee who is the foundation of the procurement office. He consistently works hard to assist BWS divisions with the procurement of necessary goods, services, and construction needed to ensure the delivery of safe and dependable drinking water to the residents now and into the future. Whereas Mr. Mao played a major role in developing and supporting and executing necessary changes for the implementation of the Hawaii e-procurement system and BWS procurement portal, important changes that have modernized the Board of Water Supply's procurement office and enabled the office to continue to operate as usual throughout the COVID pandemic. Whereas Mr. Mao is instrumental in helping the BWS transition to electronic forms and to changes that made purchase requisitions and the purchase order process in the JDE software by facilitating and continuing to hold WebEx training sessions for our employees. Whereas Mr. Mao is extremely dedicated to keeping up to date with changes of the Hawaii State procurement laws and administrative rules, and always applies and shares that knowledge with staff, making him the BWS official go-to person for procurement matters. And whereas Albert Mao has been selected as our 2023 Board of Water Supply Employee of the Year and will go on to represent the BWS in the upcoming City Employee of the Year recognition ceremony, bringing pride and honor to the department, his family, and friends. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, that do hereby express to Albert Mao our sincere appreciation for his outstanding service to the department and the City and County of Honolulu. Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Members, any discussion? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And if there's no more discussion, then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Okay, so we've been moved by Max and seconded by Jean. And any other comments, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Max Ford,
Aye.
Board Member Brian Antaya,
Aye.
Board Member Gino Vano,
Aye.
Chair Nalegu Anthony.
Aye,
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
thank you so much. Please note for the record. Oh, another one.
Thanks. Thank you.
Moving on to our last action item, number 7, adoption of resolution number 974, 2023, acceptance of the gift to the Board of Water Supply and the Hawaii Community Foundation to attend the U.S. Water Alliance One Water Summit 2023 conference. Turning it over to Ernie.
Thank you, Chair. Graciously, the Hawaii Community Foundation's offered a gift to the Board of Water Supply to cover the expenses of the manager and chief engineer to attend this year's summit, which will be held in, I believe it's Arizona. So just seeking the board's approval of the receipt of this gift so that I might be able to attend the One Water Summit in Arizona this year.
Thank you. Any
Thank you.
discussion?
No, I'm just wondering, I mean, you sure gonna have enough water in Tucson for you guys to look at?
I'll try to conserve water as much as possible and take shorter showers.
Not from me, but
Ernie and I had a brief discussion about it. I think these opportunities that come up to also just talk about the unprecedented crisis at Red Hill and familiarize with other folks. And there's water challenges across the country right now. And the Red Hill one has gotten a lot of attention, but is certainly not the last. So it's important to begin to understand what some of those challenges may be and how they persist.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Okay, and seconded.
Second?
Okay, so it was moved by Max and seconded by Jean. Are there any corrections, additions, amendments, or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brian Antaya,
Aye.
Board Member Max Ford,
Aye.
Board Member Gino Vano,
Aye.
Chair Nalegu Anthony.
Aye,
Chair motion passes with 4 ayes.
thank you so much. Please note for the record.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. These are information items. We have 6 items today. And we'll start with item number 1, update on the Board of Water Supply's response to potential impacts of the Red Hill fuel contamination. Chair recognizes Deputy Erwin Kawata.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and members. I'm going to be substituting for Joyce Lynn, who normally gives this presentation. She's unable to join us today. So with respect to the recent events, the Community Representative Initiative, EPA has essentially gone out and redone the process. They're right now taking nominations for memberships to that committee, starting on the 23rd of August up through September 6th. On the 16th of September, they're going to go through a process to select those members. Recently, we also had a visit from Governor Tamaki of Okinawa Prefecture, shared his experiences with us on their issues with PFAS contamination, both in their groundwater and their surface water. They have a significant amount of PFAS. Much of that PFAS came from aqueous film forming foam used at the Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa. Also, ongoing discussions with Department of Health, the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, and of course, the regulatory agencies continue with respect to remediation approaches and collection of water samples. The fueling timeline still is on track for October 16th, according to the Joint Task Force Red Hill. All of the repairs were also completed. Repacking of the fuel lines actually started today. It was announced in the media today. where fuel is being put back into the pipeline so that they can safely remove all of the fuel scheduled for mid-October. Closure of the tanks in terms of selection hasn't been completed yet. It's still on track for completing in August of 27. And with respect to, in the next several months, work with respect to the first community representation meeting, subject matter expertise workshops are ongoing through October, and the fuel tank advisory committee in November. And that concludes my update for this month. Thank you. Any questions?
Sharon?
Any questions? Aaron, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, fiscal year 2023 claims management summary. Asking Raylene back to the podium.
Thanks, Chair and members.
Thank you.
This is our fiscal year 23 claims management summary. So as this board is probably aware, tort law holds this is just the legal framework for how we deal with claims here at the Board of Water Supply. Holds a person or entity to a defined and certain standard of care, and when other persons or property are injured because of a failure to uphold that standard of care, the result is the person who failed is held liable. But the matter of whether a utility can be held liable for infrastructure failures differs from state to state in different jurisdictions. So in Hawaii, civil jury instructions are that the plaintiffs must prove by preponderance of evidence that the defendants were negligent and that such negligence was the legal cause of the plaintiff's injuries or damages. Plaintiffs must also prove the nature and extent of their damages. So how we manage claims here at the Board of Water Supply, it's within my office, the Office of Executive Support. I have a department risk manager, and I have a claims management specialist, and we manage claims against the board. And you'll see in our budget, we budget funds under 6350 claims for personal injuries and property damage, just a little bit over $1 million budgeted each year. This is just a 5-year kind of expenditure history on that single object code and the claims or the budget for claims. It goes up and down, but the past couple of years have been right at that, like just over $1 million. As far as the like the loss run or the number of claims filed against us, it's just the running total for the last 5 years. Claims filed, how many we closed, and how many remain open. And this is just the number of claims or the matters that actually start with a claim, and not if it starts with a lawsuit, not a claim, we don't include it in these totals. And as you are aware, probably we have a very large and extensive fleet. So we also have claims presented to us for auto type incidents. This again is just a running total of total claims presented, how many closed, and how many remain open. That is it on the claims management summary.
Any questions?
I see the trend going really low. Is there a reason for that?
Low?
It gets less and less.
Nobody was driving during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really varies year to year on the number of claims
Right.
presented.
I
Yeah,
just found that very peculiar. Very.
that it dropped. Yeah, as of like for fiscal year 23, we only had 22 claims, right? And thus far, we've only closed about half of them. So that amount paid on the auto is really low right now because I still have to go through about half the claims presented.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, question?
Right.
Yes, Ray, my question is, I know that the loss runs are separated by auto claims and general claims.
General liability, yep.
Yep. With respect to the general liability, would you happen to have further breakdown on the types of claims, like for example, water main breaks, anything else that might lead to a general liability claim?
I probably could break it down further. Right now, I don't have that. We kind of classify them into like, water damages from main breaks. There's also claims for like plumbing fixtures because of water main breaks so I don't have it offhand, but yes, those are the kinds of things that come and that we categorized in our general liability. Is any of those things, any results of water main breaks, or it's even just results of us like changing a meter, fluctuation in pressure, those kinds of claims all end up in our GL loss run.
We can get a breakdown for you later. I don't think we have the numbers right now.
Yeah, no rush. I'm just wondering, I'm just curious, including breach of contract claims, and any kind of lawsuits filed. Because I think it's really the litigation is a reflection, I think, of kind of our current operations and our current state of the department.
I can report back to the
but
board
thank
the
you.
breakdown.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have one quick question. On your general liability, in 2020, you still have one open.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, how close are you to closing that up?
I would assume it's getting close, otherwise it has run on its statute. So if they don't file a lawsuit, then they can't pursue it any further. Fiscal year 2020 runs through June 30th of 2020. So they could have also at this point, they may have probably already filed a lawsuit to keep preserving their ability to
Just to
pursue the
keep
claim.
it from running.
Yeah, off the top of your head, is that a large one?
I can't, yeah, I'm
Please.
sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Ray is very sharp, but I don't think she remembers every.
Yeah, no, not all of them.
The
The staff do a really good job of managing it. And as you folks know, I come to you folks in executive when they're above a certain threshold.
Yeah.
But the between the departmental risk manager and the claims manager specialist, they're managing the daily, especially the ones below that threshold.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you.
Moving on to information item number 3, financial update for the quarter ended June 30th, 2023. Chair recognizes Joseph Cooper.
Good afternoon, board. So this is for the year ending, June 30th, 2023. Our actual revenue was $251.2 million, which is actually under budget by about $7 million, or just over 2%. Operating costs were $217.8 million, which is under budget by just over $19 million, or 8.2%. Combining those numbers gives us actual net revenue of $33.3 million, which is under our budget which is over our budget by $12 million. This breakdown shows some of the major cost drivers of our budget. Most of these categories are under budget. So personnel costs were $9.4 million under budget. And this is a broken record due to vacancies. Actually, personnel costs are up from last year by over $1 million. So we are working on filling that void. Material, services, and supplies is under budget by $13 million at $73 million. Equipment is under budget by $1 million at $4 million. Debt service is pretty much on budget. It's about $500,000 over projected budget. And as no big surprise, utilities are over budget by $5.5 million, or about 20%. This slide breaks down the operating budget by division, and our division program administrators are here if you have any specific questions on their budgets. Hearing none. We can also look at the budget by the different cost categories of total operating expenses. Our largest budget in the lower right-hand corner is material, services, and supplies, which comprises about 34% of our annual budget, or $73 million. In the upper left is fixed charges, which is the second largest category at 29%, or just over $63 million. Also in the upper right is personnel services, our third largest category of expenses at 19%, or $42 million. And finally, we have debt service in the lower left, our fourth largest category at 16%, or $35 million. We also break down our operating costs in these categories and compare them to budget. Personnel costs were under budget by 18%. Materials, services, and supplies was also under budget by about 15%. Equipment is under budget by about 20%, but it's a small budget. Debt service is over budget by 1.5%. And again, it's no surprise, our fixed cost, which includes our energy costs, is over budget by 6%. This shows our operating costs both on a monthly basis and a year-to-date basis. Year-to-date, our operating costs are under budget by just over 8%, or $19 million. Monthly expenditures probably average around $18 million a month. And April, May, and June variances are down from our budgeted expenses, and this is mostly due to a lot of our broad-based cost-cutting efforts. And finally, we have our operating revenue both on a monthly basis and a year-to-date basis. Again, our revenue for the year is down about 2.8%, which is about $7 million under our budgeted revenue. While there is monthly variation, historically, our annual basis of our revenue tracks pretty close to our budget. Consumption and revenue dropped considerably during the last 6 months of the year, January through June, because of the weather, and this was pretty broad-based. All customer categories declined during this period. I just want to remind everyone that our billing data does lag our actual consumption by about a month. So sometimes it's a little deceptive or a little confusing when we talk about how wet a month is. And that concludes my presentation for the financial report. I'll take any questions or comments.
Thank you, Johnny. Any questions by the members? No? None? So thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and for the report. Moving on to information item number 4, Capital Improvement Program Quarterly Update. Jadine Urasaki and Raylene Nakabayashi.
Aloha Chair, Anthony, and board members. This is the quarterly report on the Capital Improvement Program for all divisions for the quarter and fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. So in the fourth quarter, on this sheet, 21 design contracts were awarded for approximately $19.5 million, and 25 construction contracts were also awarded for approximately $76.5 million. There were 12 construction contract completions reported during the fourth quarter. In the bottom left-hand corner, the ongoing projects are tabulated here. We have 241 ongoing design contracts and about 135 ongoing construction contracts. Together, they total about $349 million. The next slide is the pie chart for the fiscal year. Total encumbrances of $135 million represents about 93% of the total budget of $144.5 million. The execution shortfall for fiscal 23 is attributed to us not awarding the Wilhelmina Rise 811 Reservoir Replacement Project due to the unreasonable bid that we received, and that was discussed earlier. And thank you for approving the budget amendment for fiscal 24 CIP so that we can move forward with the project. The details of the design and construction contract awards are on the next 3 slides. Next, our annual graph comparison has been updated to include the fiscal 23 fourth quarter. Fiscal 23 is noted in black solid line. Next is our pipeline price per linear foot for the fiscal year, which has also been updated. As you can see, it's at $1,599. We had 7 pipeline projects this fiscal year. To compare with fiscal 21, we had 8 pipeline projects, and the average was about 1,620 per linear feet. Last year we had 1 project. It was more of a station project, but we did have pipeline, and that's why it looks a little skewed with that 6,070. The average awarded price per linear foot over the last 24 years confirms a general increase in installed costs. It also illustrates how price per foot can vary widely based on individual projects in a given year, as well as factoring in COVID and post-COVID, as well as shortage supply factors. And that is the update for fiscal 23 capital improvement program. Before I turn it over to Raylene to go over the summary for the budget amendments of fiscal year 2023, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Members, any questions? Maybe just a comment. Just like I'm looking at the schedule for, I think, the second page of the construction contracts. And the variations are just wild. You have one that's budgeted at 6 million, the Hollywood Wells, and it came in at 3.8, and then you have these others that are budgeted at 1 million, coming in at 5.3. I mean, is it just what you said, just like the variation in
It could be a multiple amount of things. It could be the variation. It could be what was bidding during that time period. You know, and what they're getting, they're getting from their suppliers in terms of feedback, because it is ever changing with the suppliers, pipe suppliers, I should mention.
Sure.
Pipe and pump suppliers. It is changing on a day-to-day basis. So whatever feedback they get, that's pretty much, they're being overly conservative when they do put in their bids. But then again, we had others that were kind of close, so.
Yeah, sure. And maybe one other question. You have 241 design projects and 135 ongoing construction projects. How many staff does it take to oversee all of that?
Not enough.
Water supply. Yeah, okay, thank you. Well put.
Yeah. Maybe the question could be, how many vacancies do you have right now?
Yeah, so we have about 25 vacancies.
Wow. Thank you for your hard work.
Is it around 30% vacancy rate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you. So, brilliant.
Next up is Raylene.
Hey, so to make the funds available to do all those things that Jadine recapped for us in the fourth quarter, I just want to go over. So the board adopted the budget as $181,109,325. As the board knows, there is a provision in the budget resolutions that allows the manager at his discretion to have the authority to adjust the method of funding in the budget as long as the total consolidated appropriation remains the same. So there was one amendment that we brought before the board that actually changed the bottom line. So that one came before the board with board action, adjusted the CIP budget in fiscal year 23 to $184,076,325. But after that, we did some shifting of, this is a recap of budget amendment number 1. So after budget amendment number 1, there was some shifting of funding while keeping the bottom line total the same. So this shifted some funds for projects that we didn't need the total amount of funding. And this budget amendment 2 actually was to hold back some money in the event that our electric power costs were going way out of line. As Joe reported, it ended up like 6% over budget, about $6 million. We were making contingency plans to hold back money on the CIP as well to ensure that we could cover. Next budget amendment was again holding the bottom line total the same, but we took money where it was not needed, moved that into the contract adjustments account to make funds available for project awards. As you saw, there is a variation sometimes between what we budget and then what the bids come in like. So we shift money, but keep the bottom line total the same. And the last one was budget amendment number 4. And it was, again, just project funding for lines 5, 25, 28, 29, and 41 were not needed. And we moved that all to contract adjustments account to help with making awards when they came in over budget. Ready to answer any questions if you have.
Members, any questions? Okay, hearing none. Ray, thank you so much. She runs. Thank you. Moving on to informational item number 5, status update of the groundwater wells at all index stations. Welcome Barry Sagala to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
See you, Barry.
Same here. And members, For August, we had 5 index wells stations in low groundwater condition. I guess for July, I'm sorry. Pearl City, Kulanui, and Wailua were in caution, and Kaimuki and Punaluu are in alert status. The monthly production average for July is 139 million gallons per day. And our rainfall index for July was 69% of normal. That's good. And the 5-month moving average is 97%. So it's on its way down, but it's still at the index mark. As of August, the drought monitor shows dry conditions in the southern coast of Oahu, and the National Weather Service continues to forecast below normal precipitation through February of 2024. And most monitoring wells are exhibiting decreasing heads, reflecting the increase in demand during the time and the increasing temperatures. So that's the rainfall. When the 5-month moving average is around the red line, it's still in good shape. You can see that last year, it starts to dip down, and we'll see that through the rest of the year as it goes down. So I've never seen a July where we're under 140 million gallons per day. So that's a good sign. That's because we had such a wet winter. We do expect a dry winter coming up, but well below the 5-month moving average, and the pumpage at the same time last year, which is in green. So overall in good shape to this point.
I think rainfall is a big factor, of course, but also I think people are starting to heed the call on water conservation and treating our resource as a precious gift. We're going to start to be more aggressive on water conservation outreach since, like Barry mentioned, we may be in dry conditions all the way till February next year. So it's important.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank Kathleen's group for their conservation messaging and their attention to all of the different angles and facets of conservation. So really follow there.
Any questions?
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Barry. Thanks for the report. Information item number 6. Water main repair report for July 2023. Welcoming Jason Nakaido to the podium. Hi, Jason.
Hi, thank you, Chair and board members. The following is the water main repair report for July 2023. On July, we had 27 main breaks, which is comparable to previous years. This was the beginning of the fiscal year, so July was the first reporting month. As a list of the 27 main breaks, and the majority were on small diameter pipe, 12 inches and less. For leak detection, in July, we started using new satellite imagery data from the new contract. So our leak detection team investigated 31 points of interest and found 48 leaks. Of those 48 leaks, 9 were within on mains as part of the 27 that were repaired. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
So the 9 on mains helped you wait until we had a catastrophic main break?
About 7 of them we repaired before it.
Before the pipe blew?
Yeah, 2 were after the fact that we kind of matched the location to a POI.
Okay.
Great.
So at what point do you determine that a leak needs to, or a section needs to be changed?
When we start seeing patterns, and then we will make a recommendation to capital projects to replace that area of pipeline.
Okay, it's not based on how much leakage is happening.
The leak history is an important factor. We also give each segment of pipe a risk score. Because we have 2,100 miles of pipeline, we have to kind of be able to prioritize how we're going to replace things. But if we find something failing rapidly, like I would say, examples of PVC pipe installations like in Nuuanu, we have a project to actually replace that pipeline. Waianae, MacArthur Street, other locations where the pipe is breaking frequently. Then we may go in and say we got to replace that section.
The main breaks are used to feed into the water master plan and the predictive model to calculate the risk scores
Right.
for all the pipes.
I was just wondering, maybe you took a hammer and clanked it and see if it had a certain sound or something.
Well, you'd have to expose the pipe, which might be 5 feet,
Yeah.
7 feet deep.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, hearing none. Jason, thank you so much for your time today. Okay, this brings us to the end of our regular board agenda. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Moved by Max, and is there a second?
I second.
Second by Gene. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay? All right. Stand in recess. Adjournment.
Adjourn.
Adjournment, sorry. Yes.